Hey everybody, welcome back to another episode of Becoming a Powerhouse Brand. I'm Jacquie Laws, personal brand visibility and empowerment mentor, and today's episode is going to really hit a lot of you, I think, on a deeper level. And I know that this is work that is so essential when it comes to building a brand and standing out, because in today's episode, we're talking about identity, we're talking about survival energy, we're also talking about that moment when everything looks really good on paper, but actually, there's something more available to you. So today, I'm welcome with the lovely Jennie Priestner, who is going to be talking to us all about identity rebirth, manifestation, and all of that magic. So, Jennie, welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me. I'm very excited for this.
Yay. I'm so excited to have you on. Now, you're going through a bit of a shift at the moment. I know we had a little bit of a chat before hitting that record button. The year of the snake, that was a year, wasn't it, right?
It was a year, and it's like I say to people all the time, like when you're doing research on the year of the snake, and it's like people say that there's been like a 9 year karmic cycle where if you think about what's happened for you in the last 9 years of your life, what has it been like? And if I reflect on mine, it has been a bumpy ride. So yeah, I am definitely ready for the next 9 years, shall we say.
Yeah, I love that. And I think all of us we needed that year, didn't we? We really needed that to let go of things that weren't serving us. And although for the majority of people I've spoken to, they found last year really challenging. People left, they had issues that they hadn't had before. There were just so many things. It was almost like everything was crumbling, but it was all stuff that needed to happen to allow us to get to where we are now. So we are in the year of the horse. I know you are going through a bit of a shift at the moment.
Yeah, I feel like shift is too much of a gentle word to say. So I feel like we need to start back at the beginning to
Yeah,
explain what this is
let's
because
start.
as you can see, my hands are starting to move everywhere. So this is just part of the energy that I'm bringing in.
Oh, I
So
love it. Yeah,
this
let's
makes
start at the beginning. Tell us, like, how did you get to where you are today? What is your background? What's your journey?
Okay, so I got to start all the way back at the beginning. So I was born with a really rare hereditary blood disorder. So, sorry, blood disease. It is part of the rare diseases group. And so I think what you would consider that is my conditioning, my program was I was an ill person. So it's like hereditary hemolytic anemia. So I was transfusion dependent, had spleen out, had gallbladder out, like loads of operations with it. And like my whole life was a severe lack of energy. My whole life was, blood transfusions. So it kind of got to a certain point when you kind of like, is this life going forward? Like, is this what my life is meant to be? And then kind of compiled on that, then I became a single parent. I was working full time. And then the beautiful PMDD, premenstrual dysphoric disorder, came and decided to bed into my system. And that really was like putting the icing on the cake. Like, I'd go and see doctors and they're like, well, are you breathless? Are you tired? And I'm like, yeah, but I didn't know what rare illness it belonged to. Like, there was just a monthly swirling vortex of depression, anxiety, suicidal thoughts, uh, complete exhaustion. Like literally, people who have PMDD know what it's like. I was a stranger in my body. I was a prisoner of my mind. There was so much going on, and life was a struggle. Life was survival, and it really did get me to the point where I was on my knees, where I was like, I'm done. I actually can't go on with this anymore.
Yeah,
And I think that
yeah,
is the sorry, that is the magic point that the universe is like, right, what are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with yourself now? And that was the cracking open point of my healing journey because it literally was. I don't want to live like this anymore. Like I physically can't. So I started to embark on a healing journey. And I would read books like Dr. Joe Dispenza, Becoming Supernatural. And I'd read it, I'm like, oh my God, all these people have healed themselves of like these, hideous illnesses and started walking when they couldn't. I was like, oh, so amazing. And then a voice in my head would go, but you could never do that. And it was like, this is what I was battling with, this
yeah.
feeling of, wow, something amazing is happening, but you can never do that. So everything that I am today, everything that I embody, everything that I teach, everything that I coach, everything that I channel is everything that I have done to get me to where I am, everything that I have done on my healing journey. So it is a complete rewiring of your mind, like a
Yeah.
complete reprogramming. And, people are like, but it's not possible. I've had anxiety for years. And I'm like, watch me work it, because I have taken myself from being conditioned with a physical illness to the point of now, like, I have more energy than I've ever had in my life. And then again with the PMDD, like, gone. So it's, yeah. And then, what do you want me to move on to my corporate job of how, like, I ended up in my own
Yeah.
business? Like I
Yeah,
say,
let's share the whole story.
one leads into the other. Right, okay. Have a slurple. So I've always had like a psychology background, and then I ended up getting a job like in the corporate world during the recession because I couldn't get a job doing what I wanted to do. And yeah, I was just in the corporate grind for 16 years. And a part of me was like really happy with that because, you're getting the income every month, you got the corporate car, you're working your way up the corporate ladder. And then the more I started to the more that the PMDD was bedding in and I was like just shedding every month, something inside me was like, this isn't right. I don't want to be here. And again, loads of women live in that mentality of knowing this isn't right. I don't want to be here. But the ego, the human self is like, yeah, but we're getting a wage every month.
Yeah.
And again, there's so many battles that I've like endured on my journey that there's so many avenues to go down. And yeah, I just started having breakdowns at my desk at work. Like I'd literally be crying my eyes out, trying to look at spreadsheets and do maths and stuff. And then the moment that 5 o'clock had come, I'd shut that computer down, open up my coaching laptop and be like, so happy. And it's like, it's so apparent to me where my energy was invested in. And yeah, the universe, like when you are ready to start your purpose, the universe is like, can I swear, sort your shit out. So it made it impossible for me to work. So yeah, I had to like leave work on a breakdown, start my own business, and yeah, everything just unfolded since then. And I wasn't channeling a year ago. This has all started to come out now, the eruptions of energies. So yeah, this is where we are now. So we've gone from physical illness, mental illness, PMDD, leaving corporate job, spiritual awakening, and channeling higher self.
Oh,
So
love it.
wherever you want to go with all this is a lot
Right.
to take on, but
I love this. And I think I know myself and from speaking to a lot of other people that if you have got kind of, I would call it like a red flag area. So if you have a mental health illness or a physical health illness, it can then ripple effect into other areas. So quite often people that have a mental health illness, it will also show as a physical illness elsewhere. And equally the other way around. I think, like you say, the universe is always giving us these prompts, isn't it? It's always giving us these nudges until you stop and listen.
those
What?
nudges turn
Yeah.
into like pow pow when you don't listen, and you don't want to get one of them because they are cruel but
Yeah.
needed. So yeah.
Do you think we have to go through that massive kick up the arse though? Do you think, because so many of us, when you're not sort of spiritually awake, when you're not tapping into this work, once you don't know about energetics, alignment, all of that kind of stuff, you would just see this as, oh, it's just my luck. It's typical. What? It's so me. Like I just keep getting all this bad stuff happening because you're not realizing that actually all of those bad things are just, it's the universe telling you this is not what you're meant to be doing. You need to wake up and listen to what I'm saying to you. But what was it for you that made you take that shift from seeing this is awful, like, I can't go through this every single month, like it's just completely taking over my entire life, to then going on the healing journey? Had you experienced anything through people that you knew that had gone on a healing journey themselves, or was this all like completely new to you?
It was all really new to me, to be honest. And I'm just going to circle back to what you said. So it's like everything that people are experiencing, like depression, anxiety, yes, it's manifesting in the physical form, but exactly what you've said. There's something energetically that has gone on that has then been unprocessed, that the universe, that it's kind of presented itself as like this is what it is. But
Yeah.
most people will sit in the depression because they've had a bad life, and sit in the anxiety because they think there's no way out. But it all just needs processing. It needs moving through. So yeah, that's, again, I explain everything as the energetic side of things, but yeah, exactly bang on there. And no, like I say, there is no one that has ever experienced like my exact blueprint of life. There's obviously people that have got pyruvate kinase deficiency, which is the blood disease I have. Although it's very rare, I'm in like certain groups globally. And again, with PMDD, when I had it, not many people had it. Whereas nowadays, a lot more people are kind of coming out with it, but it was
Yeah.
really under the radar. Um, and even to the point, I was seeing gynecologists and I was like, I've got this. And they're like, never heard of PMDD. I was like, you've never heard of PMDD and you're a gynecologist. Is that not like an engineer not knowing what a bloody spanner is? Like, how? So that was the breaking point for me because I was experiencing my breakdowns, the suicidal thoughts, like everything through COVID. And again, I know a lot of people that have woke up through COVID because the universe has just gone, take your friends away, take your family away, take your social life away. There's you sat in a house with all your issues. What are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
And it really did shine a light on everything that I was experiencing. And like, I know people that have experienced the darkness, as in, with addiction and things like that. But this was my dark night of the soul. This was for me to sit with all my emotions. And I say to people now, my PMDD was a gift. And people who have PMDD are like, PMDD is not a gift. And I'm like, it is the most beautiful thing in the world because it allowed me to become who I am today.
Yeah.
And we can get onto that in a minute. But yeah, so 5th of March 2021 was the, oh my God, this has got to change moment. And I'd gone to a gynecologist. I had this phone call with her. I was like, right, I know exactly what I need. I need this cream. I need this injection. I need this operation. And she was like, no, 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 there's nothing wrong with you. There's nothing wrong with your hormones. It's gastroenteritis. You need to go and get a camera up your stomach. And I put the phone down to her, and it was the straw that broke the camel's
Yeah.
back. And she caused me to have a breakdown that night. And I'd written a 9-page suicide note of how I didn't want to be here anymore. And it just, like, something in my head just went ping. And yeah, that was a very, very bad time. But it was at that point because I'd been living with it for so long of like, this is what you're doing, Jennie. Like, this is not normal. And no one understood it. When you speak to people like, I get upset before my periods too. Nice one. Great. Yeah,
Yeah.
great. Feel like popping yourself.
It's not the
Um,
same.
and it's like, I'd speak, and they're having 3 bags of blood every 3 months. And I get people go, I get tired too, And I'm like, oh, are you kidding me? Like a normal person's hemoglobin count is like 13, 14. I was at like 774, like half the energy of a normal person, dragging myself around the earth plane. But again, like now I've got more energy than I don't even know what to do with. So you can heal yourself, whatever you are experiencing. So it's beautiful.
I love that. So, if there's anyone that's listening to this today that is like, I'm going through whether it's mental health illness, whether it's physical illness, and they're just getting to that point where they're like, there must be, I'm not being listened to, or rather, I'm also not listening to the signs that are there. What would be that first step for them to kind of start on their healing journey? Because I know for me, myself, when I went on a healing journey, I'm still on it now. I don't believe that we're ever kind of done and dusted with it. It's an ongoing process. But I think that the methods, the routes, the modalities that you go down and follow will be different for everybody. We're all like aligned differently. We're all going to align to different types of things. So what would you recommend is the very first thing that you would do if you were someone that's in that point of, this cannot be my life anymore? Like, I have to turn things around and start this healing process.
I think like one of the biggest things is like dedicate yourself to it. Like I really, because I was at the point of real, back up against the wall. And I think some people, and this is like a little bit of a frustration of mine, where they know that they're not happy in their life, but they're just flitting in and out and, just doing that. It's like, if you want change in your life, be as committed to your change as you would be feeding your kids 3 times a day. Like it's literally go all in if you are that serious about it. So what's cracked me open was a cacao ceremony. I went to a full power cacao ceremony with Liam Brown, and my friend had been trying to get me to one for years. I was like, hot chocolate on a yoga mat, no tar. Like, I'm having a breakdown here. Like, no thanks. And oh my God, I was the person in the room, ugly, crying. Like, I could feel it coming on. And it was, again, just all this unexpressed energy wanting to come out and be transmuted. And I think as well, like, lean into it. Whatever you're doing, don't be like, oh, wonder what people are going to think about me here. If you need to sit in a room and ugly cry, I sat at the back of the room going, ah, ha, 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 because I knew it needed to come out.
Yeah.
And from that moment onwards, I was like, I felt like an anvil had been lifted off my chest, and I was like, I'm sold. I need to drink that every day. So find a modality that works for you, whether it's breath work, whether it's yoga, whether it's journaling, whether it's going to these beautiful spiritual ceremonies. Really sitting with those, again, rewiring your mindset, finding a modality to help you do that. So it's not just oh God, yeah, I see that, but that's X amount of price. No, you're investing in your future.
Yeah.
You're investing in your health. And it's so important to do that, because if I'd never done that myself, I wouldn't be here today. So it's really important to invest in yourself. We've spent years going out and spent 300 quid on a night out, drinking bottles of wine and spewing up the next day. It's like, why not go and spend 300 quid on a retreat for a weekend? Like, treat yourself, show that you are worthy of your healing journey. So I
Yeah.
hope that answered your question.
Yeah, definitely. And I think we have to start putting ourselves first. We're so conditioned as women in particular to put everybody else first. We're the carers, we're the ones that are meant to provide for the family and all these things. And I think we almost have that as an ingrained job that we have to be doing. That means that we're right at the bottom of the list. And I think once you start to turn things around and you realize making yourself a priority actually means that you are then a better mother, a better friend, a better partner, like all of these things, it actually creates that ripple effect in all other areas. So it's not a selfish thing to put yourself first and actually, like you say, invest in yourself, invest in your journey of actually becoming your favorite version of yourself.
I love that. I love that. And it's so true, because when you're a better person, but when you're a more healed version of yourself, and like this is everything that I encompass, everything that I teach, is everything else starts to change. And the example I'm going to give is when I had PMDD, like the relationship with my son, who must have been 3, 4, 5, bearing in mind I was a single parent from when he was 1. Um, and I absolutely hated being around him. He was really, really, it just drained me. He was awful, the tantrums. And it was, it was to the point of it being up before and after school club. And sometimes I'd sit till 6 o'clock until the dot till I had to go and get him, because I just didn't want to be around him. And it wasn't him, it was me. The moment I worked on my energy and started going on my healing journey and wasn't putting out these daggers of energy or whatever trauma I was putting out into the universe. And the moment that I worked on myself, our relationship was just like, wow. And so it really is like everything starts to change. I met my twin flame rather than going on all these dating sites. It's like your reality will change when you heal your energy and heal your
Yeah.
mindsets. Like, everything is possible. It
Yeah.
really is beautiful.
Yeah, and it all weaves into manifestation, doesn't it? I talk a lot about how you start your day, the practice that you have in the morning will completely shift how your day goes. And I think it's very easy to wake up, you've overslept from your alarm, like you've got to get the kids ready for school. It's all like chaos, chaos, chaos. You're just rushing around trying to do everything, and your energy is just like depleting in the morning. Actually, that's going to then have like an impact on the rest of your day. So if you can start shifting how your day starts, it's going to make a massive impact on how the rest of your day goes. And I think it's having these routines, isn't it? And it's actually being really committed, like you said, committed to making a change, because nothing is going to change unless you physically make those changes.
Physically, energetically, emotionally. And it's so important what you said there, because I'd seen this thread on Instagram the other day and they were all slagging manifestation off. And yeah, I get it. There's a cute side of it where everyone's like, let's do 3 affirmations a day, and let's go and put our hands on the ground and pray to the moon or whatever. And it's like, but that's not manifestation.
Yeah.
Manifestation is the embodiment of everything that you want to be. So if you want to be happy, like, you have to be happy, engage, find that energy. And if you're like, yeah, but I can't be happy because X happened to me, heal that. Like,
Yeah.
everything that is preventing your happiness is the blockades and the barriers of what you need to heal through. And yeah, from even like how you say that morning routine, but even if you've got the most beautiful high vibrational morning routine, but then you go to work, you're scrolling, you're watching EastEnders, you're reading all your soap mags, you're gossiping with your workmates all day, that isn't manifestation, because
Yeah.
all that low vibrational engagement is still your manifestation. Like, whether you are aware of it, whether you are asleep, whether you are awake, you are constantly communicating with the universe. And the universe feels your energy, not necessarily the three affirmations. I am powerful, I'm beautiful, I'm amazing. But then all day long, you're like, hate what I'm wearing,
Yeah.
work's boring, this is crap. It's like, that is what you are manifesting with.
Yeah.
So that is why it's so important to really get rid of all the subconscious blocks, because it's a subconscious mind that is communicating with the universe. So,
And it's also the energy behind it, isn't it? I always say to people about creating content, about speaking, about when they're networking, when they're doing all these things, because I work obviously with a lot of entrepreneurs. When you're putting out all of this information, this is where I get so frustrated with people that are relying on AI to create content and get their message out there, because I think when it's not coming from you and your soul and what is in here, it is felt so differently. And I'm always banging on about this on the podcast about the energy behind what you're creating. Like, I never batch create anything. I'm not saying don't batch create. I'm just saying, for me personally, I like to create when that inspiration strikes and I'm just feeling that call. It is a real sort of, it comes from in here, it comes from really in my chest.
a
Yeah,
download.
exactly. It's literally that, okay, I need to get this message out there, rather than a, oh crap, it's 11 o'clock and I need to post today. Let's go on to ChatGPT and create some content. And I think
Mm.
it's, if you can really listen to what your soul is trying to get out there, your mission, and you're really aligned with what it is you're here to create, the impact you're here to create, everything in how you're showing up with your energy shifts, and it's felt so much clearer, isn't it, by other people.
Yeah, definitely. And I love everything that you've said there. And I'm going to be really open and honest here, right? Content creation and social media is one of my biggest gripes. Like, when I started my business, so I've had my business now for, like, I've been coaching for about 4 years, but I was doing it all on the sly in the corporate job. But like, fully, like, okay, I don't actually have a wage to lean back on now. I've been doing it for, it'll be 2 years this April. And I had to, like, literally get the defib out and defib my Facebook account, because I was in real hermit mode. Like, I don't like
Yeah.
anybody knowing what I'm doing. Like, I wasn't even, like, when I was at uni, yeah, like, oh, this is me, of like doing whatever I'm doing. And then all of a sudden I kind of started to care what people thought. So I never posted anything. So I had to really come out of some hermit shell. And just the whole social media thing was, but what if people think this? And what if people think that? So I had to go through the self-doubt blocks. Like, I have been on a journey with even just showing up, making videos, making reels. And I used to always hate it so much. And I've had quite a few social media managers. I think I've had three over the 2 year period. And I would always get to a point and I'm just like, it's not connecting, it's not working. I'm not getting, like, the leads or the clients from it. I've always had clients, but the universe has stripped them in from other means. But yeah, social media never landed. And I'm glad I had a social media manager last year, because she held space for my account while I was screaming and rolling around in my yoga mat, like surrendering to the ear of the snake, because that's how it got me. But this year I made the decision. I was like, it really dawned on me. I was like, no, it's not my message, not my energy, not me. Like, it was just like, oh, you are not broken, you are not this. And it's, I am so bored of reading this because it's all chat GPT. So
Yeah.
I was like, no, Jenny, do it, even though you hate it. Like, and it's like, now I just show up in the most authentic way. I just don't overthink. It was the overthinking
Yeah.
part. Now, if you've not already discovered by me speaking, I speak a little bit street with a wanna gonna cuss, and I'm just right like that. Because
Yeah.
when I see other people write like that, I'm like, this girl knows me. But yeah, I was never writing like that. I was still hiding behind my corporate emails of kind retards. Sorry, kind regards. Like, I always used to say it wrong. But, like, just get your personality out there. Like, say what you want to say. And, if your neighbor Marjorie says, why did you post that? You just say, because I believed in it. And the response that I have now off my social media is amazing. And even reels that take me 2 minutes to do, like, they go off because it's just energy.
Yeah.
So yeah, fully on board with what you're saying there. And
Yeah.
I used to hide behind ChatGPT, write me an email, write me a thingy about this. But it's because you're not trusting your information
Yeah.
and you're comparing yourself to other people.
Yeah.
So
which will still continue to happen. So the more you're relying on ChatGPT to create your content for you, the more you're still going to be comparing yourself to others, and you're missing the point, which is getting your message out there. That is what social media is such a powerful tool for when it comes to running a business. I think what you said about overcoming those challenges that you've got and really starting to listen to not just the nudges, the kick up the asses that you get from the universe. I am listening now. It completely transforms everything around you. And I do think that there is a huge identity shift that happens. I know obviously you deal with identity shifting as well. And I think it's a really powerful thing to know that whatever your situation is right now, if you are someone that is in that struggle stage, if you feel like you can't see a way out, if you feel like everything is like building up on top of you and you just, what is even the point? Maybe you're at a certain age and you think, I'm too old to start this now, or things have gone too far along, or I've been running my business too long, I might as well just give up. If you are in that stage, take this as a sign that if you start to focus on yourself and you start to shift how you're showing up, what you're prioritizing, because so often we're prioritizing the wrong things in our lives. That is why things feel so hard and we're not putting ourselves first. It literally shifts everything around you. And I like, when I work with my clients, and I'm sure you do the same, is it's looking at the bigger picture. So although I specialize in brand and helping you be visible, you can only be visible and build your brand if you know who you are and the impact that you're here to create and the mission that you're on. If you don't know any of that, you're just going to be able to create some nice graphics, but it's not going to have the energy behind it. What have you noticed in terms of your identity shifting that has happened for you? Do you recognize the person that you were when you started this healing journey?
No, because she was like ill, real like that's been my identity shift. And like now I look back and I don't know, I'm a completely different person. I have evolved, I have rebirthed, I have changed so much. Like and I've always been like a confident, bubbly person, don't get me wrong. But just the whole illness and things like that, just everything, it's like that old self has left behind. So I've gone from my human self, which is where all the diseases and illnesses were, into my higher self, which is obviously a high vibrating illness. Sorry, higher vibrating energy. So none of that stuff can exist there. Self-doubt, like and anything like that, they don't exist within your higher self. So again, it's like people that have got anxiety and things like that, and they kind of think, yeah, but this is me now. I've had it for so many years. And it's
Yeah.
like, no, 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 shift it. But again, the ego pulls you back because that is your identity. This is who you are. So I work with a lot of clients that are kind of stuck in the middle. It's like, I'm so frustrated because the higher self knows it's like, but we're meant to be doing this, we're meant to be doing more. But then the human self is like, got the feet firmly in the ground, like, no, no
Yeah.
changes. So yeah, that's why I rebranded myself as like the identity rebirth mentor, because everyone's a manifestation mindset mentor, but I work solely with your mindset, with your energy, and I just tune into my client's energy, and it's like, right, you're holding on to there's that
Yeah.
energy, and just work either channeling it out, sweeping it, and get rid of it, bringing in new energy, or just rewiring the subconscious mind so they literally emerge a brand new person. When they are a new person, they have a new energy, and then they're manifesting from that state of being. So yeah, that's how I changed it, because it was like, I'm sorting you out. We're not
Yeah.
manifesting a brand new house. Like, I'm not. If people like, when you see on coaches like, I help my client earn $2.4 million, and I'm like, I don't give a shit. I help my client get out of bed and with no anxiety that day. Like, that's where I'm at. That
Yeah.
is the level of woman that I'm for. So
Yeah.
yeah, I love how you've said that, because you can have the greatest business idea in the world, but unless you fully believe in yourself and are ready to put yourself out there, it's null and void, isn't it? It's never going to
Yeah.
go anywhere. So it is always about the person, isn't it?
Yeah, 100%. And this work, anyone that is listening to this today that wants to scale their brand, who wants to be visible, who thinks that they need to upgrade their visuals, who wants to speak on stages, write the book, do all of these things, please, please, please start with the identity first. Start with your energy. Start with actually knowing who you are on a soul level, because until you know that, how can you possibly show up as your most magnetic version of yourself? Once you have shifted this energy and worked with someone like Jennie to be able to work on the foundations of your personal brand, which is literally the identity part, you cannot then build the external brand that is going to make you stand out. So yeah, absolutely. prioritize this work over everything. I would love to ask you one question just to wrap up here. What is the one belief that somebody would need to shift to be able to release living in that survival mode at the moment? If somebody is really in lack, that wants to make a change, but they're just feeling very sorry for themselves, what is one shift that they can make today?
Oh God. Oh, I think it's been, I think the first thing is the brain is wired to be fixed. So it's opening yourself up to the possibilities that change is happening or change is available to you. And it's once you kind of embed that belief in, you allow yourself to go on a journey, then you allow yourself to shift. So I feel like it's just like, opening yourself up to the possibility of change, because most people that I work with is like, no, I can't change. I'm like, give it 12 weeks, sweet cheeks. We
Yeah.
are going to change you. So yeah, that is the first belief really. And because like I say, when I used to read that book, I was like, well, I could never do that. So yeah, that is the first core belief that you need to get past. Change is possible for you.
Love that. And I think, like you said there, it's the possibility. Just be intrigued to try something new, try something that you've never done before. And I think I talk a lot about my journey. My very first experience of energy healing was I had severe sciatica. I was on the wait list for back surgery because nothing was helping. I was going to chiropractors, physiotherapists, everything. And someone said to me, have you tried energy healing? Have you tried Reiki or anything? And I went into this one session. I didn't even go in with an open mind. I went in thinking this is literally a last resort. I don't want to have back surgery, but there's no other option. I kid you not, I came out of there and I was completely pain free in one session, and she didn't even touch me. Like, that is the power of energy. So for me, that was my real light bulb awakening into seeing how powerful energy work really is. And that started my healing journey. And I always share that because you just have to try something, because it's all very good hearing online that, oh, manifestation is just a load of affirmations, it doesn't work, and healing is just all this woo woo stuff, and making out that it's kind of made up fluff. Just try it, you've got nothing to lose, and I guarantee it will literally change your life once you start putting yourself first and just trying something. I love it. Jennie,
I love
where
that. I
can
love the
we
story.
find you? Where can we connect with you online?
I'm on Instagram at Align Authentic Self, or with the little underscores in between, and also Facebook, Align Authentic Self. So yeah, just type in either one of those and you should
Amazing.
find me.
Yay. Well, thank you so much for coming on the show today. Please do make sure that you connect with Jennie, reach out to her, leave a review if you've enjoyed this episode, and I will be back in the next one very soon. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.